Good morning, London. 2 a.m. in the morning. We are in John Street, Bloomsbury. Going to have a little walk through to Doughty Street today. John Street's a lovely, I was going to say back street, but it's not. There's no such thing really here in Bloomsbury. But this is a lovely street of old, really traditional Bloomsbury houses that are now mostly flats. Not a few offices, all beautifully maintained. You can always sort of feel that you're in Bloomsbury with these, so we can come across one, these traditional black front doors. There we go. Somebody's got a fan going, sorry about that. Some of these are lawyers. But one or two still has accommodation. You can see over there, there's a gigantic little poem that's been on that wall for many years and nobody's put a mark on it. I wish I could show you, when you are lonely or in darkness, the astonishing light of your own being. Unsigned. London Post Box. And this continues as John Street. So quiet, so civilized at this time of night. I love this street. I love the trees and the lamps and the stillness. It's not a through road, so we don't have a lot of traffic. We're coming down here because at the next little intersection, then this road continues, it becomes Doughty Street. And Doughty Street used to have a famous resident. I wonder if you know who that was. There's actually two. And we'll find out the first one in a moment. And here we begin Doughty Street now. Most of these are offices as we come down to the bottom. And some lovely old lamps that are still, let's cross the road, are still used. There used to be gas lamps. There's one there. It's actually got an old candle in it. No longer. Anyway, we're coming up to one of the more famous residents of this street. It's now a museum. And it is the Charles Dickens Museum in this rather dark street. I don't know why it's so. Must be a street lamp that's gone off. Anyway, I'm sorry for the darkness. I wanted to show you. This is Charles Dickens' house. Charles Dickens lived in many houses in London. This is the only one that remains as a full house, and it's got lots of artifacts of his life spent in there. He was there 1837 to 39, I think, just 2 years. But in that 2 years, he wrote 2 complete novels, Oliver Twist and Pickwick Papers. And I think part of Barnaby Rudge. Can you imagine? 2.5 years. 2.5 of his most famous works were there. He was prolific and fast. He had a big family to support, so he kept working. 10 children. I think he lived in there with 3 of them. And moved on. We're going to cross the road, which continues as Doughty Street for a little way, where we have another near neighbour of Dickens. They were not here at the same time. Dickens died in 1870, I think. And this resident here was born 1 year before he died in this house. Where is it? These are part of a university college. It's actually the Good Enough College. It's an American college of students coming here for studying in London. Now, where is this? Somewhere. Oh, here we are, just further up. This is a lovely street as well, the bottom end here. And you can see the blue plaque on the wall here for the poet Charlotte Mew. 1869 to 1928. Yes, so she was born a year before Dickens died. She was born here. The tragic story, Charlotte Mew. She was one of 6 children, 3 of whom died early in their childhood. 2 others were committed to, well, what was called then an insane asylum, which left her mother and her sister and herself. Her sister and her made a pact that they would never get married or have children for fear of passing on this mental instability, this mental ill health that they thought the entire family was cursed with. But in the end, well, her sister died of cancer shortly, as a younger woman, shortly after the other siblings. Her mother then died. And Charlotte, not unreasonably, became depressed and was hospitalized. And she died in hospital. She was a suicide. She drank Lysol, I think, as a disinfectant. But she's remembered. She produced stories and poems. Her collection, her first collection, well, the main collection of her poems was called The Farmer's Boy. And that's what her chief gift to the world is. And she's remembered in that blue plaque. Anyway, let's leave you with a view back up Doughty Street. Good night, London.